Hi, welcome back to the video book Ballads, A Tinker's Dozen. These are the stories behind some old songs. Well, maybe not the original stories, but they might have been. You never know. Today we're going to finish the 10th song in the book story. And it won't take long. After this, there's just one more. So sit back, relax, and enjoy yourselves. And we can begin. The old captain spent nearly every day walking the quay in Portsmouth waiting for news of his ship. And for nearly every day he found himself, as many old men do, talking softly to himself about his memories of his one true love. Oh, my Golden Vanity, you were the finest and most gallant ship to have ever been built in the North Country. I armed you and manned you and sent you off to sea, and I will wait here on the Portsmouth quay until you return to me. Most of the people who passed the old captain as he came each day to the dockside ignored the man, just as anyone might avoid any old man who spoke softly to himself and stared out past the Isle of Wight to the Channel, past the Channel Islands, and past Devon to the great Atlantic. But on that sunny, decidedly un-English day, a sailor heard the old captain's words, walked up to him, respectfully touched his cap, and then said, "Beg pardon, Captain. I served as a topman on the Golden Vanity when she was hounded by that Spanish shoemaker. It was in the lowlands of Virginia." The captain motioned the sailor to follow him and led the topman off the quay and down the high street to the Dolphin. The captain made his way to a table near the door and sat down, offering the other seat to the sailor. "I don't trust gin," the old man said, "but I'll stand you a stone fence or two." The sailor smiled to hear the captain's offer. Rum and cider would slake his thirst. "Thank ye, Captain," he said. When the publican brought their drinks, the captain proposed the first toast. "To our ships at sea." The two men drank to that, and then the sailor raised his glass. "And to ourselves," to which the captain replied with a grin, "because no one else is likely to bother." The two men drained their glasses, and the captain nodded to the householder for two more. Before the next round arrived, the captain said, "So tell me of my Golden Vanity." The sailor sat back in his chair and began. "The shoemaker's galleon, the Pearl, was hard after us and had harried us throughout the day. The lowlands of Virginia are treacherous waters, sir, so we pulled into a little cove and dropped anchor for the night. We kept our lights out to hide ourselves, but that Spanish bastard lit his ship up like the red lights in Covent Garden just to remind us that he was near. We were sore afraid, sir, I'll say that. And every man on our ship knew that we would battle and lose on the morrow. Well, our little ship's boy, Tom Tilley, stood just 4 feet tall, but his heart was as big as a lion's. He went to our captain, made his salute, and waited to be recognized. When the captain said, 'Well, Tom?' our boy stood up straight as he could and asked, 'What will you give me, sir, if I sink yonder galleon?' The captain would have laughed aloud at this, but he saw the steel in young Tom's eyes. So he paused a minute to give some thought to Tom's question, and then he replied, 'I'll give you silver and gold and my pride and joy, my daughter Mary.'" Tom listened, the topman continued, until the captain finished, and then nodded as much to himself as to the captain. And then he walked to the rail, poured amidships, took off his shirt, folded it neatly, and then climbed over the rail and dropped into the water. We hurried to the rail to watch him and saw him swim as silently as a snake to the Spanish galleon. When he reached the enemy, he shinnied up the anchor rope and slipped onto the ship. The pirate crew was busy with the things that pirates do. Some were playing cards, some were playing dice. Two were playing mournful songs, Neptune's Raging Fury and Henry Martin, and Captain Ward on a tin whistle and a concertina. And Tom slipped below and bored holes below the waterline with his little auger, and then he slipped off the galleon again before she began to sink. The pirates found their ship taking on water and screamed and swore, but before they could stop it, the sea had flowed into their ship and drowned them all. And young Tom swam back to us, a proud smile on his face, knowing the silver and the gold and the captain's beautiful daughter were all now to be his. Young Tom swam to the starboard side of our noble ship, and he cried to the captain, "I have sunk the Spanish galleon, but I'm cold and tired, and the tide is stronger than I. Take me up, Captain, take me up." And the captain yelled down at the boy in the water, "I will not take you up. I'll kill you instead, and you will never have my silver, my gold, or my dear daughter." Little Tom saw that he was doomed and swam to the port side of the ship and begged of his shipmates to pull him from the water so that he could die on English oak. His shipmates pulled him from the cold waters, and there on the deck young Tom died. and his mate sewed him up in a canvas shroud, and like for all the good sailors who have drowned, the boatswain followed the law of the sea. The last stitch he put through Tom's nose to make sure that he was dead. And then his mate said him a prayer and sang him a song and put him over the side into the arms of the deep. The sailor took his glass, drank the last of it, and stood. And he said to the captain, "Thank ye, sir, for the drink and listening to my tale. I must leave you, but before I go, I will tell you how the tale ends. I cursed the captain of the Golden Vanity on that terrible day. I curse him still wherever he may be. I curse his waking and his sleeping until the day he dies, and then I'll curse him when I see him in hell. He gave his promise to his shipmate, and his shipmate he betrayed. Fair winds to you, sir." And the sailor turned away and walked out of the pub. And the old captain told the publican to bring another cup. When it was brought to him, he toasted Tom Tilley with a tear in his eye.